So these are going to be my thoughts on the anime series named Another. And I finished Another like 10, 20 minutes ago. I don't really remember because I've been up all night. And I wish I was joking. But yeah, I binged the entire series pretty much on the same day. Because I think I started it late or early yesterday. I think I started it. And then I finished it, as I said, like 10, 20 minutes ago. It's a really good show. If you haven't seen it, go fucking watch it. The opening, it literally bugged me for a bit about the opening because it sounded so fucking familiar. And it took me finding out who sung the fucking opening theme music, and then finding out that they did the ending theme for another anime, and that anime was Code Geass. Because I remember, I swear to God, I was like in my head, this sounds so fucking familiar. And I think even in the back of my head, I was like, this sounds like Code Geass. But I couldn't remember if it was like an opening or an ending. But it was just like, this sounds really goddamn familiar. And even the style of song is kind of similar between, Another's opening and the ending done. And by the way, the group who did the opening is Ali Project. And I'd say they're Visual K, but, that's from my understanding of Visual K, or Key, or however the fuck you pronounce that word. But I've always just said Visual K. I'm sure that's wrong. But they are basically, like, they dress up kind of like what the fuck? I think the description is like, they're a band that has like a Japanese aristocratic outfit, and it's like, yeah, I can see that, but there's also like, it's very, I was gonna say the Arc-en-Ciel, but no, that's not really, because the Arc-en-Ciel is just a normal band as far as I know. They don't dress up. I was gonna say like maybe like Gact, because I think Gact dressed up fucking weirdly for music videos and performances. But yeah, so I love the music, both the opening and the ending. The opening is very upbeat sounding. Like, it's got a good, like, catchy tune to it, but it's like about what Another is about. And I'm putting the fucking title. Spoiler alert. Essentially, the story is shit happened in the 70s, specifically 72. A student died, and then people were like, oh, basically they started, it's like, oh no, the person who's dead is right there. And they invited death into the classroom and into the school. And so spirits would come into the classroom, mix with the students, and death and destruction would ensue. And basically, I don't know if they ever really explained it. If they did, I glossed over it. But it was just like, real students would just, like, alive students would just start getting killed. And they came up with, like, if we treated one person like they didn't exist, that would stave off 50-50, it would, like, stave off the death toll that would rack up. And there's a lot of gruesome deaths in this show. Fucking, and it just like it built up good suspense, in my opinion. Because like it kept you guessing. It's like who, it's like because you. I think it's like halfway because the show's only 12 episodes long. I think it's about halfway. They figure out that, or maybe I think it's like maybe the last couple episodes they discover this, but it's like if they kill the dead student, the shit stops, and that leads to some fairly fucked up stuff in the last couple episodes. Just bodies fucking galore. Just holy shit. But yeah, so they're like that's so the one person who they in this year, and weirdly the anime takes place in '98, even though the show was in like 2012. So I'm assuming that's when the original manga was written, or that's when the story was written. I guess I don't know, because I think it's a manga adaptation. But yeah, it is brutal as shit. That's why it has an R plus rating. I think it is no, it's just R. It's just like it's got an R rating in like the anime scale because it's brutal. It's violence. This is like fuck you, death. Yeah, and it was hard to watch it because of all the really fucked up deaths that happened, but it's like the art style is really good. It is. It seems like it's made by the same people who did Code Geass, but the studio is different, but the art style looks very similar, and I'm sure maybe because I think Code Geass is made by Clamp, and I think this might be made by Clamp. I don't fucking know. I just watched the show because I was in the mood for horror, and actually recorded a separate video talking about this. But fuck it, I'll just put what I talked about in that episode in this that video in this fucking video. And in the second video, they name drop a fucking author that I goddamn love, and that's John fucking Salt. John Saul. That's JohnSaul. And if you actually search John Saul, two of the results are two of my videos, both from 80 fucking years ago, when I used to live in the condo before we moved to this house. And yes, this is a house, not a condo. We used to live in a fucking condo. And one's a review of a book, and it was a review of Shadows, which is one of his books, and the other one was just like me pretentiously saying like, granted, I was 20 at that fucking point, 21 at most, I think, because it was 8 years ago. I'm going to be 29, so I was 21 when I made those. It was like a brief study of John Saul's books. It's like, how pretentious can you fucking be? But I really do like his books, and I can see why. I'm not sure if that was in the Japanese audio, but it's in the English dub. And if it was in the Japanese audio, that'd be fucking cool. I should probably check that out at some fucking point. See if it actually is. But for the English dub, if that is an English dub thing, that's a pretty good fucking choice, because John Saul's books deal almost exclusively with kind of fucked up stuff happening to kids, and kids having to kind of like deal with it and fight against adults. Shadows is a prime example of that. And it's fucking just read Shadows. Just find it in your local library if you can. Buy it. You can probably get it for like $5 or $6 maybe. It's a good book. It's fucked up, and I can see why they would maybe name drop that shit in the anime. He was also fairly popular during the time that the anime takes place in. Because, again, the anime takes place in the 90s, late 90s. Specifically, most of it, I think, takes place in 98. I think it might take some time in 99. But I think the main part of the show is 98. And a lot of his books came out pre that. It was like the early 80s, the 90s, and some in the almost 2010s. Like, I think his latest book is from 2009. He hasn't done anything recently, which is interesting, but I'm getting off fucking topic. But yeah, they name drop him, which is cool. It makes sense. They also name drop Stephen King, but they don't say Stephen King, they just say Mr. King. So it's like they're making a reference. I don't know. They name drop John Saul, but they don't name drop Stephen King. I don't know why. Also a very apt choice, Stephen King, you know, fucking It, fucking Carrie. I think he wrote Carrie. But, you know, Christine, fucking... Christine, fucking The Shining. Yeah. But yeah, the tension is really good because, you know, especially towards the end of the series where it's like, who the fuck is the dead? You know, who's the dead student? Who they have to get rid of to stop the shit from happening for the rest of the year. And it's like, alright. And even in the beginning, it's good how they do the beginning of the series too, because basically Mai Misaki, who's the female lead, and I'd argue she's the main character, and the male lead is secondary kind of, but she's like when you see art and stuff, like she's in the front. She's the chick with like the short hair and the eye patch over her left eye, not her right eye, but she has it over her left eye. And so she basically, like, there's the charm, that's what they call it in the anime. The charm they have is like you treat one person like they don't fucking exist. May is that one person at the beginning of the show. And the main character, who's the male, I should say, the male lead, whose name is fucking escaping me. It's a K name. Fucking, why the fuck can I think of this motherfucker's name? It's... I guess because it's Sakakibara is his last name. His first name is a K name. Koichi Sakakibara. He ends up seeing her, and then he does her, it's like, he's like, oh, are they just ignoring her? Like, did she do something wrong? But then there's a part where he's like, is she fucking dead? Like, am I seeing a fucking ghost? And it plays in with the whole, like, the fact that the class isn't telling him all of the things, and fucking, yeah, it's weird. At the end, I love how they use, like, flashbacks. It's like, which is pretty cool, where it's like stuff that has already happened in the series, or stuff that happened before the series. Like, they go back to it and it's like, this happened, and this explains things and shit like that. But there's a good scene because the person who is the dead person isn't a student; it is a teacher, and everybody thought it was a student, but it was a teacher, and it was the main character's aunt, and she gets murdered. And in the anime, I swear to God, it looks like fucking Koichi, who fucking does it. But yeah, so she gets murdered. And so she's the ghost amongst or like the dead person amongst the living students, living people. And so there's parts, because your interactions with her, like, she's the substitute, or like the assistant teacher, or teacher's assistant, or some shit like that. But fucking, it's so fucking, like, it's not very clear that, like, Reiko Mikami, like, his aunt is his aunt, and he only ever really interacts with, his aunt, and like nobody else I think sees her or whatever the fuck, or doesn't address it. Because like she's dead at the start of the series, and so I guess he just doesn't notice. And I think it's only like the people in the class that can notice shit, or you know, whatever. But so it flashes back to like a certain, because it's like the rules, like you follow the rules of the class and all this other shit. And so fucking, my brain is so addled by sleep deprivation. But so it's like, follow the rules, and it's basically just her giving advice to her nephew, like this is what happened and shit like that. This is how the class is run. These are important tips for because the school's different, and then it turns out like she was the assistant teacher, and there's like a flashback was like, I keep a fine line between my private life and my job, and it's like you don't ever call me Reiko at school, just like that shit. And it's like she had headaches, which I'm not sure if that played into the whole her being dead thing, but whatever. But yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's really good. It's really good. It's good at that kind of mindfucky stuff. I'd argue, like, watching the series, I'm like, okay, there's dead people in the class and whatever. I was like, is this going to be some Sixth Sense shit? Which I haven't actually watched from start to finish. But it's like, the whole twist, like, fucking Bruce Willis is dead all along and whatever the fuck. It did that same kind of, like, forced perspective kind of stuff where it's like, you see a situation from a specific viewpoint, and it's like, it works very well. And then it's like, as things start, like, as the flashbacks start to happen and towards the end, it's like, wow, this is fucking... And then, like, May kept the name of the dead person a secret because it was his aunt and, all this other shit. Yeah, it's fucking... It really is a good series. I'm ruining everything, but I'll put spoiler in the fucking title. But yeah, it's really good. Teacher staff. Mikami Sensei. Reiko. I love how it's like Mikami Sensei and Reiko. It's like the same fucking thing. Drives over the art club. She takes over the grade class. She also has a secret. She is her fucking the end. Birth. Like, that's what it fucking says. Many students wanted her to be their homeroom teacher instead of Mr. Kubadera. Yuya seemed to have a crush on her. In anime, she has long brown hair that is slightly wavy and brown eyes. Mikami is usually shown wearing a black blouse with a white sweater, a white medium skirt, and white shoes. In the manga, she has black hair, black eyes, and wears spectacles. Also, her hair is shorter and is tied up in a ponytail. Mikami wears the thing, and then she's her aunt, or whatever. When records with Chibiki and Koichi in the library may notice that Mikami Sensei was her teacher for Class 3-3 in 1996. When Kubadera committed suicide in front of the entire class, Sphere joined. Chibiki told the horrified Miss Mikami to call the police and an ambulance, instructions which she quickly complied with, rushing out of the room. And stand by oneself, Mikami regained consciousness. A determined look on her face, she plunged deep into the hellish inferno the end had become, intent on rescuing any of her students she could. Meanwhile, May abandoned Koichi alongside a mortally wounded Izumi Akazawa. Later, May and Koichi looked at the picture Naoya had taken of the class, only to find Reiko was no longer present. They discussed this with Chibiki, who expressed sorrow that his former colleague had been brought back by the curse, but admitting he no longer remembered her, nor did anyone else who'd survived the end. Only Koichi and May, who had been present at her second death, knew she'd come back. Drawing monster fruit. I mean, Mrs. Mikami and Reiko are the same person. Koichi behaves differently around her, whether she is at school or at home. Yuya is also aware of this, flirting furiously with Reiko while the group is at the beach. Although in the manga and live film, she has her hair down and doesn't wear glasses as Reiko, and ties her hair up and puts the glasses on while teaching as Mikami. Those were switched, so anime Reiko has glasses and tied up hair, while anime Miss Mikami has no glasses and her hair down. Occurs at the climax of the story. Miss Mikami was not killed by a student, although her body was found in the river, thought to be an accidental drowning. May did not see her death. The same in the manga. Changed to the above in the anime, the curse starts to turn itself out by process of elimination. Mei and Uzumi's latent memories start to reassert themselves, and they start to recall things connected with her death. Who killed Miss Mikami? I know it was a student, but there is no motive stated. If anyone knows the answer, please tell me. It was Sakakibara that killed her. Misaki was about to, but Koichi insisted that he did it himself. I'm not the only one that thought they were the same character from the beginning. I had, like, weird thing, anyway. Where do they put her in the mother's category? She hasn't got a child, right? Yes and no. She's a surrogate mother for Koichi, and she viewed him as her son. I learned that Mikami-sensei and Reiko are the same person in episode 12. Same with me. Mother of Shari from JP Happiness. Don't know what the fuck JP Happiness is. So is Mikami like a ghost or something similar? Sort of, for all intents and purposes, she's real, but she shouldn't be there. She's more like someone who's bled through from a parallel universe, one where Reiko didn't die. Which, yeah, I can understand that. It's fucking weird as shit, though. Anyway, yeah, fucking done. I'm gonna go fucking lay down, because I've been rambling for 20 fucking minutes. Probably incoherently at some fucking points about the show. Another. Ta-ta!